Hi guys, welcome to Math Warriors. This is our first video. Today we're going to learn about quadratic equations and solving quadratic equations using null factor. Okay, so basically we're going to learn what a quadratic equation is. A quadratic equation is an equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And this form of the quadratic equation is called the standard form. There are multiple ways of solving a quadratic equation, and in IB we're going to learn 3 of them. The first one is called null factor law, which I'm going to explain what it is. But first of all, let's analyze this form of the equation. A quadratic equation, as you know, has 2 roots. When I say 2 roots, it means that it has 2 answers for the variable. The variable is x, as you see. A, B, C are the constant numbers in this equation, and A is always a number other than 0. It can't be 0. That's a rule. Okay, about the null factor law. The null factor law is basically changing this form and basically factorizing. Now we're gonna solve a very simple example of a quadratic equation using the null factor law. For example, if we have 3x squared plus 5x equals 0, we're basically going to just factor it right now. The value that we can factor is x. So if I factor this equation by x, I get x times brackets 3x plus 5 equals 0. Now, we're going to learn a basic mathematical rule to solve this quadratic equation. If two numbers like a and b multiply by each other and equal to 0, either a equals 0 or b equals 0. Because always in multiplication that its product is 0, one of the numbers or values should be 0 in order to equal to 0. So we're going to use this rule right now in solving this factorization. So in this case, either x equals 0 or 3x plus 5 equals 0. So one of the answers would be x equals 0 or 3x plus 5 equals 0. Now we're going to solve this linear equation to find the answer for x. It's so simple. You learned it in grade 9. We're going to subtract both sides by 5. Then we'll get 3x equals negative 5, and as a result, x equals negative 5 over 3. So the two possible answers for this quadratic equations would be either 0 or negative 5 over 3. Right now we just solved a very simple example of a quadratic equation using the null factor law. We're going to go to solve a more complex one, but before doing that, we're going to have a better analysis of the null factor law. So we said that our standard form is this. In null factor law, we're going to change this form into this. 0 equals a brackets x plus an unknown value times x plus another unknown value. So in our first examples, a is usually equal to 1. It means that it will become invisible. So let's think that a is 1. Then 0 will equal to x plus the unknown value times x plus the other unknown value. So, and then you know the rest, either x plus square equals 0, or either x plus circle equals 0. So basically, we know that. But what we should know in solving the future examples is the distributed property. Now I'm going to distribute the values of this factorization. It's called the fishing method. Once x times x, the other time x times the circle, and then once the square times x, and the both unknown values are multiplied by each other. So if I write that down, I'll get 0 equals x squared plus x times circle plus x times the square plus the square and circle both multiplied by each other. So this is this is the form that we should write down when we want to solve a quadratic equation using null factor law. We need to change this standard form either into this factored form or either into this one. We use this one to find the values for x, and we use this format to actually find the unknown values. So we use this one to find the values for x, and this one for finding the two unknown values. So now we're going to solve this example using these two forms of solving a quadratic equation using null factor law. So what we should do is to factorize this. The 6x squared can be factorized into two possible values. It can be either 2x and 3x or x and 6x. I'm going to choose 2x and 3x just by chance to test. So we're going to basically change this format into this format. So 0 equals 2. We have our two brackets. Here we have 2x, and here we have 3x. So as you see in the distributed property, if I multiply them together, I'll get 6x squared. Now we need to find the two unknown values, which are these. Now we should know that if we multiply the two far values and we get a product, and then we multiply the two close ones and we get the product, if we add up the products, they should equal to the bx, which is in this case it is negative 11x. So basically 2x times the square plus 3x times the circle should equal to negative 11x. And then basically if we multiply the two unknown, it should equal to the c value, which in this case it is negative 10. So square times circle should equal to negative 10. Now we need to find the possible values for this. We need to find two numbers that if we multiply them together, the product is negative 10. So it can be either negative 5 and 2, negative 2 and 5, negative 1 and 10, negative 10 and 1. We need to test each one to get the answer. We need to test. So for example, I'm going to choose negative 5 and 2. So now we need to plug them in. If I put negative 5 and 2 in here, for example, I put 2x minus 5 times 3x plus 2 equals 0, then basically we should test. Now I multiply the two far ones, and then what I get is 4x, positive 4x, and then I multiply the two close ones, I'll get negative 15x. Now, as I said, if we add these two products, they should equal to the bx, which is, in this case, it is negative 11x. And as you see, they do. So now we're sure that our two unknown values are negative 5 and 2. So what I need to do is just to find the two values of x, just like before. What I do is that basically once either 2x minus 5 equals 0 or 3x plus 2 equals 0. So if 2x minus 5 equals 0, then x equals 5 over 2. That's one answer. And if 3x plus 2 equals 0, x will equal to negative 2 over 3. And those are our two roots of our quadratic equation. We solved it using the null factor law. As you see, if you want to use the actually use this format, writing all the other stuff, it will get like really long time. So as you do more practice and you get more professional, you don't have to do all this stuff. You can just figure it out in your mind. You just need to find like two values that equal to 4x and the two values that equal to negative 15x, and I add them up. I should get the negative 11x. So it may be negative 5 and positive 2. You plug them in, you test them, and it seems right. Then you find the possible values. Thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy.